Homophobia, understanding and addressing prejudice. Hello dear parents and listeners. Have you ever felt uneasy or hesitant when someone mentions the topic of homosexuality? Even though you can't quite explain why. And despite the fact that the people you know from this community have never done anything to affect you? This could be a sign of what experts call homophobia. Today, we'll dive deeper into this issue. Not to judge, but to understand and learn how to best support our children and those around us. In this discussion, we'll cover key points. First, we'll clarify what homophobia truly is and how it manifests. Next, we'll explore a more complex form, internalized homophobia, where individuals with same-sex attractions harbor prejudice against themselves. We'll also discuss the act of outing, or revealing someone's sexual orientation without their consent, and its consequences. Most importantly, we'll explore where those facing prejudice can find help and what each of us can do to help build a more understanding and compassionate society. Exploring the invisible fear. What is homophobia? Many of us have heard the term homophobia, but do we truly understand it? Homophobia isn't just fear, it encompasses hatred, discomfort, or distrust toward lesbian, gay, or bisexual individuals. Similarly, there's biphobia, prejudice against bisexual people, and transphobia, prejudice against transgender individuals or those who don't conform to traditional gender norms. It's important to note that while these forms of prejudice share similarities, they aren't identical. Someone may be transphobic without being homophobic. And prejudice can come from anyone, whether heterosexual or even someone within the LGBTQ community. So, where does this prejudice come from? And how does it show up? Homophobia can take many forms. From negative attitudes and beliefs to deep-seated biases or hostility. Its roots often lie in unfounded fears and misunderstandings, sometimes stemming from conservative religious beliefs or upbringing in environments with entrenched biases. In everyday life, homophobia can appear in words. People may use derogatory, hurtful language when talking about the LGBTQ community, dismissing bisexual individuals as attention-seeking or untrustworthy. Sadly, in extreme cases, homophobia can escalate to actions like bullying, abuse, or even violence, causing profound physical and emotional harm. When fear turns inward, internalized homophobia, there's a more complex and heartbreaking aspect of prejudice that's less discussed: internalized homophobia. Imagine someone growing up in an environment filled with negative attitudes about homosexuality. When they begin to recognize their own same-sex attractions, instead of embracing them, they turn those negative beliefs inward. They may feel discomfort, guilt, or rejection of their true selves, denying their sexual orientation or living a facade of heterosexuality. Those grappling with internalized homophobia often show distinct behaviors. They may feel pressure to prove their heterosexuality, adopting hyper-masculine or hyper-feminine behaviors. Tragically, some may even bully or discriminate against openly LGBTQ individuals as a way to deny or hide the parts of themselves they can't face. The fragility of disclosure, understanding, outing. For LGBTQ individuals, coming out, or revealing their sexual orientation is a deeply personal and significant step. However, there's an act called outing that we must understand to avoid causing harm. Outing is when someone discloses another person's sexual orientation without their permission. Why is this dangerous? When someone is outed, their most private information is exposed against their will, leading to feelings of shame, betrayal, and deep hurt. This can severely impact their life, relationships, and mental health, and may even expose them to discrimination, bullying, or violence. If someone trusts you enough to share their sexual orientation, recognize that this is highly personal and sensitive. They're showing immense trust in you. Always ask if and how you're allowed to share this information. And above all, respect their wishes completely. Finding support. Where can those facing prejudice turn? We've discussed the pain and challenges prejudice causes. It's heartbreaking that homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia persist, creating conflict, injustice, and even danger, not only for the LGBTQ community but also for their allies. Those harassed or bullied for their sexual orientation or gender identity often feel isolated, afraid, and silenced. But no one should face this alone. So, where can you or your loved ones find support? Thankfully, there are many resources. These could be friends, mentors in the LGBTQ community, or supportive allies who've walked similar paths. Online forums offer spaces for sharing and finding empathy. Trusted adults, family members, teachers, or supportive heterosexual allies can also help. Local LGBTQ advocacy groups, community centers, or school clubs are reliable resources. If you're in an area with limited direct support, the internet is a powerful tool. Online communities and resources can provide vital information and support to combat prejudice. For parents, if your teenager is being harassed at school, speaking up is critical, even though it can feel daunting. Staying silent may allow harassment to persist or worsen, deeply affecting their education and mental health. Schools have a legal responsibility to prevent harassment and violence. Find a supportive teacher or trusted adult who advocates for LGBTQ students and seek their help. Small actions, big impact. How to combat homophobia. We all know that no one has the right to discriminate, bully, or harm others, physically or emotionally. So, what can each of us do to reduce prejudice and combat homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia? The answer is plenty, starting with small steps. First, be mindful of your language. Avoid using negative or offensive terms to describe LGBTQ people. Even seemingly harmless phrases like, "That's so gay," can unintentionally hurt others. Next, challenge stereotypes. Don't buy into misconceptions about LGBTQ individuals or make assumptions about them. Instead, educate yourself about their issues. Be an ally, regardless of your own sexual orientation or gender identity. Stand up for the LGBTQ community. Let those around you know you support and respect them. Honor their choices about when and where to come out. Show equal care. Treat the partners of your LGBTQ friends or family the same way you'd treat a heterosexual person's partner. Recognize that sexual orientation is just one part of their complex identity. If possible, join LGBTQ advocacy groups or communities to show stronger support. Speaking up safely. Confronting prejudice. One of the most powerful actions an ally can take is speaking out against prejudice, whether it's offensive jokes, negative language, or bullying based on sexual orientation. However, this must be done wisely and safely. When confronting prejudice, ask yourself, is it safe to address this now? Are you dealing with a stranger in public or a friend in private? Should you speak up immediately, wait for a private moment, or step away for your own safety? Always prioritize your well-being. If you choose to speak up, stay calm and ask questions. Sometimes, people don't realize their words are hurtful. Instead of attacking, ask why they said what they did, and gently explain why it's inappropriate or harmful. This can spark dialogue rather than conflict. Dear listeners, understanding and addressing homophobia is a long journey that requires patience, compassion, and courage from all of us. By equipping ourselves with knowledge, spreading empathy, and acting with love, we can build a world where everyone, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, can live authentically, be respected, and be loved. Thank you for listening.